Have you ever wondered where the next real estate goldmine might be? Investors are constantly looking for the next booming market. Cities like Austin, Phoenix, and Nashville have been hotspots in recent years. What if I told you that Vancouver, Washington, right here in the Pacific Northwest, is quietly becoming one of the most underrated real estate markets in the country? Hi friends, it's Jasmine, your local Vancouver, Washington realtor extraordinaire, and today we're diving into why this city is seeing massive growth, rising home values, and an influx of new residents, all while maintaining an attractive cost of living compared to its neighbor, Portland, Oregon. And here's what makes it even more appealing. Washington has no state income tax, making it one of the most tax-friendly places for investors looking to maximize their cash flow. Before I got into real estate, I used to think you needed millions of dollars to start investing. But the truth is, it's not about how much money you have, it's about knowing the right markets and playing your cards right. In Vancouver, Washington, this city is packed with opportunities that a lot of investors are sleeping on. Whether you're looking for long-term appreciation, rental income, or a place to build wealth without excessive overhead, this market has something for you. What's driving this momentum? Vancouver is uniquely positioned just across the river from Portland, offering all the benefits of a major metro area without the drawbacks. Less regulation, lower property taxes, and better long-term appreciation potential. Over the past few years, we've seen home values in Vancouver increase steadily with strong demand for both long-term rentals and short-term investment properties. From new construction homes to multifamily developments, investors are taking notice, and the best deals are getting snatched up fast. So today, we're breaking down exactly why Vancouver, Washington is quickly becoming a prime destination for real estate investors, what's fueling the city's growth, and where you should be looking to maximize your return on investment. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of whether or not Vancouver should be your next investment move. And trust me, you don't want to overlook this city while it's still in its early stages of growth. So, if you're serious about building wealth through real estate, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for more expert insights. Now, let's dive into the data and see what makes Vancouver a hidden gem for investors. You might be wondering, what exactly makes Vancouver, Washington such a strong investment market? Why are more and more real estate investors turning their attention to this city? Well, it all comes down to a mix of strategic location, tax advantages, and a booming housing market that's creating incredible opportunities. I remember when I first started learning about real estate investing, I thought the best deals were only in big name markets, places like Austin, Phoenix, or Miami. What I quickly realized is that by the time a market makes national headlines, the best investment opportunities are already gone. That's why savvy investors are always looking for the next market before everyone else catches on. And right now, Vancouver, Washington is one of those markets. First, let's talk about location. Vancouver is just across the Columbia River from Portland, Oregon, which means investors get the benefits of being near a major metro area without the drawbacks. Portland has seen tighter regulations on landlords, higher property taxes, and a more competitive market. Meanwhile, Vancouver offers lower operating costs, a business-friendly environment, and plenty of room for expansion. And the best part, it's still within commuting distance of Portland, so residents get access to big city jobs and amenities while living in a more affordable and investor-friendly city. Another huge advantage, no state income tax. Washington doesn't tax personal income, which means you get to keep more of your rental profits. If you've ever owned investment property in a high-tax state, you know just how much of a difference that can make to your bottom line. And with Vancouver's housing market still growing, it's an incredible opportunity for investors looking for both appreciation and cash flow. Speaking of growth, Vancouver's real estate market is on the rise. Home prices have been steadily increasing year after year, and properties are selling faster than before. But what really makes the city stand out is its rental demand. More people are moving here for job opportunities, lower housing costs, and a better quality of life, which means landlords are seeing high occupancy rates and competitive rental prices. And let's not forget about development. The city has been making major investments in infrastructure, with projects like the Waterfront Gateway and the Heights District bringing in new businesses, restaurants, and housing. These aren't just small neighborhood improvements. These are city-backed initiatives designed to attract more residents and increase property values, which is exactly what you want as an investor. So, when you combine Vancouver's tax advantages, growing real estate market, and booming rental demand, it's easy to see why more and more investors are choosing this city. And the best part, it's still early. Compared to other high-growth cities, Vancouver is just getting started, which means now might be the best time to get in before everyone else does. If you're thinking about investing in Vancouver, drop a comment below. And if you want help finding the right property for your portfolio, let's Let's chat. I'd love to help you make the most of this market. Let's get into the market data, because as investors, we don't just want to hear opinions. We want to see real numbers that show whether Vancouver, Washington is actually a strong investment. What's happening right now in this market is really interesting. Vancouver has been on an upward trajectory for years, but even with shifting market conditions, it continues to hold strong. I've talked to so many investors who hesitated on making a move because they were waiting for the perfect time. But here's the thing, by the time it feels perfect, you've already missed the best deals. The one who wins in real estate are the one who understands the market cycles, know when to act, and don't just follow the crowd. And the numbers right now, they're telling us Vancouver is still full of opportunity, but it won't stay that way forever. Right now, the median home price sits around $496,000, up nearly 2% from last year. Now, while that might not sound like a huge jump, this is happening at a time when a lot of markets across the country are slowing down or even declining, but Vancouver is still growing. That's a strong sign of market resilience and sustained demand. And speaking of demand, let's talk about what's actually happening in the real estate transaction side of things. In the last month, we've seen a significant increase in new listings, with nearly 600 new properties hitting the market. That's a huge jump of almost 78% from December to January. Why does that matter? Because it tells us seller confidence is returning. More homeowners are deciding that now is the right time to sell, and that creates opportunities for investors. More inventory means more choices, and in a market like this, that means better deals. But here's the part that really shows how strong the market is. Even with all these new listings, the number of closed transactions is still climbing, up nearly 30% compared to last year. That tells us that even as more homes become available, buyers, especially investors, are still actively purchasing properties. Let's talk inventory levels, because this is where things start to get really interesting. Right now, Vancouver's inventory is sitting at 3.1 months. And if you're not familiar with how that works, basically anything under 4 months is still considered a seller's market. But here's the key. A higher inventory level means the market is starting to balance out, which is actually great news for investors. Instead of the ultra-competitive multiple offer frenzy that we saw in previous years, we're shifting into a market where there's room for negotiation, and that means investors can start getting better deals. And if you're wondering how quickly homes are selling, well, here's where we're seeing another shift. The average days on market has climbed to 77 days, meaning homes are sitting a little longer before they sell. Now, that might sound like a slowdown, but actually it means investors have more time to analyze deals, negotiate better terms, and secure properties without having to rush. This is a very different scenario from what we saw even just a year ago, when homes were flying off the market in days. So for investors looking to buy in Vancouver, this is the window where you can capitalize on the best opportunities before the market picks back up again. So what does this all tell us? The Vancouver market is still growing, but in a much healthier way. Home prices are holding strong, demand remains high, and as inventory increases, investors are starting to gain back some leverage. This market is showing signs of strength while still giving investors room to make smart buys. The best part? We're still early in this transition. As conditions shift, those who understand the data and act strategically are going to position themselves for major long-term gains. If you're serious about investing here, this is the time to start watching the market closely and getting into position for the next wave of opportunities. If you're thinking about investing in real estate in Vancouver, Washington, you're probably asking yourself, what's the smartest way to get in? What strategies actually work in this market? Well, the great thing about Vancouver is that it's not just a one-size-fits-all investment market. There are multiple ways to build wealth depending on your goals. So let's go over the best investment strategies that are working right now and how you can take advantage of them. I've had a lot of conversations with investors who think they need to start with a huge budget or that only multimillionaires can afford a real estate portfolio. But the truth is, the smartest investors are the ones who use the right strategy, not just the most money. Some of the most successful investors I know started with one property and leveraged it strategically to grow their portfolio over time. So let's talk about how you can do the same thing starting right here in Vancouver. One of the most accessible and profitable strategies here is house hacking. This is where you buy a duplex, triplex, or even a single family home with an ADU. You live in one unit and rent out the others to offset or completely cover your mortgage. And let me tell you, in a market like Vancouver, where rental demand is high, this can be a game changer. Not only are you building equity in a property, but you're also benefiting from tax advantages, reducing your living costs, and getting first-hand experience as a landlord, which is incredibly valuable if you plan to expand your portfolio. Plus, with loan programs like FHA and VA loans, you can get started with as little as 3.5% down, making it a great entry point for new investors. Now, If you're looking to scale your portfolio quickly, another proven method is the BRRRR strategy: buy, rehab, refinance, repeat. This is ideal for investors who want to build wealth fast by buying undervalued or distressed properties, improving them to increase their value, renting them out for consistent cash flow, and then refinancing to pull out equity so that they can reinvest in the next deal. Vancouver is an ideal market for this strategy because there is still plenty of value add opportunities, especially in up and coming neighborhoods where appreciation potential is high. The key here is finding the right properties in areas that are growing while making sure the numbers work. You don't want to over-improve a home where rental income won't justify the cost, so running your calculations carefully is crucial. Now, if you're not someone who wants to be actively managing tenants but still wants to generate passive income, there's another great option: multifamily investing. This is where you buy small apartment buildings or fourplexes that generate multiple streams of rental income from day one. These properties tend to be more stable investments because even if one unit is vacant for a short time, the other units are still producing cash flow, especially with Portland renters moving over the border for better affordability. Plus, there are tax incentives and financing options specifically designed for multifamily investors that can make it an even more attractive strategy. If you're serious about long-term cash flow and wealth building, this is something to explore. What if you're not looking to manage a property at all, but you still want to invest in Vancouver's real estate market? That's where short-term rentals and corporate housing come into play. With Vancouver's growing business sector and its proximity to Portland, there's constant demand for furnished rentals, travel nurse housing, and executive stays. While short-term rentals like Airbnb can be a lucrative strategy, it's important to check local regulations because not all areas allow them. But if you find the right location, short-term rentals can significantly outperform traditional long-term rentals in terms of monthly income. So, how do you know which strategy is right for you? If you're new to investing or want to get started with minimal risk, house hacking could be a great entry point. If you're looking to scale fast, BRRRR might be a better fit. And if passive income is your main goal, multifamily or short-term rentals can generate high returns without the constant buying and selling. The key takeaway here is that Vancouver, Washington isn't just a one-dimensional market. It offers multiple ways to invest successfully, whether you're starting with house hacking, using the BRRRR strategy to scale, acquiring multiple units for cash flow, or stepping into short-term rentals for high returns. If you've been watching this and thinking, wow, Vancouver seems like the perfect place to invest, hold on, because every market comes with risks and Vancouver is no exception. But here's the thing, smart investors don't avoid risk, they learn how to navigate it. And if you're serious about making the most of this market, let's talk about the biggest challenges you could face, and more importantly, how to stay ahead of them so they don't eat into your profits. I can't tell you how many times I've heard from investors who waited too long because they were worried about risk, only to watch the market take off and realize they missed out. But the truth is, risk exists in every market. The difference between a good investor and a great investor isn't avoiding risk, it's knowing how to predict it, prepare for it, and use it to your advantage. So let's talk about what you need to watch out for and how to protect yourself. The first, and probably most obvious risk, is market validity. We all know real estate values don't just go straight up forever. Economic downturns, rising interest rates, even local job markets can impact home prices and rental demand. So how do you protect yourself? Simple. You buy smart. Don't chase hype. Focus on cash flowing properties in high demand neighborhoods where rental income can sustain you even if home values dip temporarily. And always have reserves set aside, because if 2020 taught us anything, it's that the market can shift overnight. Next, let's talk about property specific risks, because the last thing you want is to buy a rental and then find out the plumbing is from the 1960s and needs a $15,000 replacement. This is why due diligence is everything. You should be working with great inspectors, running rental performas, and budgeting for repairs before you even think about making an offer. And here's a pro tip: if a deal looks too good to be true, it probably is. Always dig deeper. I actually had an investor reach out recently about a fourplex that looked amazing on paper, low price, high rent potential, great location, but after digging into the property history, we found out it had major foundation issues that were going to cost $60,000 to fix. If we hadn't done due diligence, this great deal could have turned into a financial nightmare. That's why having a solid inspection team and a clear investment plan is so important. Now, let's get into tenant-related risks, because even the best rental in the best location can become a nightmare if you end up with the tenant who doesn't pay rent, causes property damage, or just vanishes overnight. Here's how to protect yourself. First, have a rock-solid screening process. Background checks, income verification, rental history. Do not cut corners here. Second, build good relationships with your tenants, because happy tenants stay longer, take better care of the property, and keep your cash flow stable. Another big one, financial risks. The biggest mistake I see investors make is over-leveraging, buying too many properties too fast, relying too much on short-term appreciation, and then getting stuck when the market slows down. The best way to mitigate this, stick to sustainable financing. Make sure your deals still have cash flow at higher interest rates, and always have an emergency fund, because if something goes wrong, the last thing you want to do is scramble to cover expenses. And finally, legal and regulatory risks. Let's be real. Government regulations are constantly changing. Zoning laws, landlord-tenant laws, short-term rental restrictions. These things can impact your investment overnight. You need to stay on top of them. I always recommend working with a great real estate attorney and being active in local investor groups so you hear about changes before they happen instead of being caught off guard. Bottom line, every real estate market has risks, but the difference between a good investor and a great investor is knowing how to see those risks ahead of time and plan around them. If you're looking to invest in Vancouver and want expert guidance on how to avoid the common pitfalls, let's connect. I'd love to help you find an investment strategy that works best for you. So, we've covered a lot today. Why Vancouver, Washington is an incredible market for investors, the current market data, the best investment strategies, and even the risks you need to watch out for. But now, let's bring it all together. Is Vancouver, Washington really a real estate goldmine? Here's the bottom line. Vancouver is one of the most overlooked investment markets on the West Coast, and that's exactly what makes it such a huge opportunity right now. Between its strong rental demand, no state income tax, growing property values, and strategic location just across from Portland, it's checking all the right boxes for investors. We're seeing both long-term appreciation and strong cash flow potential, but here's the thing. The best deals always go to those who act before the market gets too competitive. And that's what separates successful investors from those who just sit on the sidelines. I see it all the time. Some people wait too long, thinking they'll time the market perfectly, while others recognize the opportunity and take action. The question is, which one are you? Now, no market is perfect. There are challenges and risks, and it's not as simple as just picking any property and hoping for the best. But that's where having the right strategy and the right guidance makes all the difference. Vancouver has opportunities, if you know where to look. So, if you're serious about investing in Vancouver, Washington, let's connect. I can help you identify the best opportunities, find deals that align with your strategy, and make sure you're set up for long-term success in this market. Click the link in the description to get in touch, and let's start building your portfolio the right way. And before you go, don't forget, if this video helped you, hit the like button, subscribe for more real estate investing insights, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Vancouver as an investment market. Let's keep the conversation going. Bye!